This is Antibody Nation. This is the podcast of Radical Cultures. I'm in the company of Sylvia Constance and Victor L. Crux from a band Dame Area. That's the right pronunciation.
Yes,
I think.
exactly.
Dame Area. I guess you get that a lot. This name pronounced really bad.
Yeah, Dame Area. No?
Dame Area.
Dame Area. And people ask you what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, many times. But actually, it's not. Also, Dame Area. It's all right. The right pronunciation will be Dame Area. But people sometimes in English they think like Dame because of I'm a woman in the band, no?
Yeah.
Which was
So
not
it's
the original.
female
Yeah, it was not the
only.
original. It was not the original meaning. But it's all right.
Yeah, in a medieval way, like it's my
Yeah, Dame.
dame.
Yeah, it's like a
So
Dame.
Victor is in the band to serve his dame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
Interesting and twist, no? Like,
so yeah, we are at the Antibody headquarters, and I wanted to make it feel very homey, very intimate for this first recording for the podcast. And I wanted to, we're drinking tea, we're sitting in my place, very chill here in Brussels, and I wanted to ask you, instead of making wishy-washy presentation, just to present yourself in a rather general way, and then we will go more in depth.
who start? I start. You start. Well, yeah, you said right the name. We are Dame Area, and we are an Italo-Spanish duo. I'm Italian, and Victor is from Spain, and we are based in Barcelona. And we starting 2018 doing live shows, and we are here in Brussels because we have a small Belgian tour these 2 weeks, and yeah. That would be the presentation.
on a personal level, I wanted to know a bit about your personal history, and more specifically, what were the triggers that attracted you towards the dark areas of the Catalan underground?
And Victor has a longest history. No?
Yeah, but
you
you
can
were
start.
the one attracted, no?
Yeah, you can start.
Well, okay. I start. Where to start? I guess that the first time I read about experimental music or industrial music, krautrock, all this stuff, it's from a book from Victor Nubla that it's called From, if I'm not wrong, I may be wrong, but it's From Industrial to Technopop, I think it's the name. And it was written under another name, Adolfo Marin. And I found this book in the library in front of my house. So like literally, I was living like 15 meters from the library. And I found this book and I started to read about Throbbing Gristle and Khan, Faust, Residents. But I couldn't listen to them. I just could read. I
assume that created sort of a whole mystique for you and these bands. You
exactly.
Can imagine how it must have sounded.
Exactly. It's just descriptions of sound, no?
Yeah, and then because you afterwards you had when did you have the possibility of putting your hands on the record? And you told me someday that you used to travel even far to get some records, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not so strange that before or just with the early internet that you will go to another city to a shop, no, to find maybe some friends say, oh, this shop is really good, and even sometimes I went to other shops, not necessarily in Barcelona, but other shops in small cities like Manresa, which is a bit it's a bit in the interior, where there was a really cool shop where I remember I bought Gang of Four Solid Gold or Public Image Limited, something else. Things that
which years are we talking about?
When I was maybe that must be 99, I guess, or something like this.
Yeah,
when I was 18, so it was not so easy to find everywhere all what you wanted. You couldn't. I think Napster just started. Maybe it started in '98, I think, or '99. But you could like download one song in one in one evening. It took ages. Like maybe you download half a song and for me it was like, okay, so that's Bauhaus. Okay, now I know. But things like this, like it was really so slow. So it was even easier to just go to the shop and
Right.
and buy things. So I read this book, and I had all this mystic about all these bands, and then I tried to listen to them. The first I listened was Splendor Geométrico.
Yeah. They're so legendary.
Yeah, super legendary.
I'm such a fan.
yeah, amazing project. And the curious thing is that I eventually went to live next to Victor Nubla, who wrote this book, but I didn't know in this moment, and I ended up working with him 5 years. And one night, I told him this story.
What was the work in context?
The work is association called Gracia Territori Sonor, and they organized a festival, which is how I met with Sylvia as well. Mm-hmm. So I guess in a way this is really connected, because maybe if I didn't work with this festival, we wouldn't have met. No, I guess. So I'm not sure. Anyway, one night I told him this story of how I started to listen to this music, and he told me, "Oh, I'm the author. I'm the author, but under another name." So in there, one of these big cycles, closed.
What was the moniker? Which name did he use?
What do you mean? Like in the
his fake name as a.
His fake name is Adolfo Marin, and it's Victor Nubla.
Adolfo Marin.
Adolfo Marin, mm-hmm. Yeah, and Victor Nubla. It's like maybe what would be the equivalent of Genesis Porridge in Porridge.
Okay, it's a bit of a prank name.
Yes, and also he's a figure. It's like the godfather.
As a status, as a figure.
Yeah, the status. Yeah.
Okay.
Is with his project Macromassa, which I think the first recording is from '76. Is not it's a bit more into I guess deep psychedelia, noisy psychedelia. Mm-hmm. But then he went into a lot of different directions. Maybe he's more into the residents, but sometimes a bit industrial too,
Yeah.
They played with Muslim Gauss, no?
Yeah,
and Throwing Grisel as well.
No,
Psyche TV.
He knew all these people. He knew all these people.
I think I heard about him the first time when I went to Barcelona in Majaroja.
Yeah.
In the place you were running.
Yeah.
You were still running. We will talk about that a bit later.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you before we ask to Sylvia. Should I call you Constance or Sylvia?
Sylvia is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I use both. No?
Yeah. When did you come up with the band Ordre Eterne? I think I'm trying to pronounce.
You pronounce it great.
I try. To pronounce Catalan, you have to sound more like French than Spanish.
Yeah.
Then they're happy.
Yeah, that's true. It's easier pronouncing it like in French, but without the.
A bit of R rolling, but not too much.
Not too much. Yeah, not as much as Spanish.
They don't want to make it too Spanish.
Yeah, no. Ordre Eterne.
Yeah.
That's not so. But
that sounds pretty good in Catalan.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful name too.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm asking because the name was always mysterious to me, and even more, I played it lately in a DJ set at the Kiosk Radio, this radio in Brussels, and I have this vinyl from you, and I finally got to play it in my old vinyl DJ set, which I had a fantasy doing for a while, and I finally did, and was really, really strong. It was a set with black metal and a lot of other stuff, and it understand it really well. And I thought, this is so good, this is so radical. And I think we will talk a bit later too about this radicality that's infused in your music, even though it's a bit more melodic, you know. But when did it start? Why the name? Maybe you don't want to say, but I mean, and who was it with?
Order 10.
Yeah.
It was with Marco Callaghan. We were trying to do a project together.
Good old friend.
Yeah, good old friend.
Great artist.
Yeah, amazing artist. For me, one of the best current artists. And we were trying to do something together for a while. And we tried a couple of rehearsals. In fact, one of them is quite nice and a very strange combination because there was an harp player, electrified, like really like orchestral
an electric harp.
Yeah. Not. It was like an harp, a real harp, orchestral harp, with a contact mic.
Okay.
And and then the drummer from Order Etern, Mark, singing, and I was doing this kind of really weird guitar. And one day we were talking about what name, because this band with him, it took too much time to find moments, especially because of the harp player. Like this kind of things that you send 200 emails, and you know, the rehearsal was very good, but not worth 200 emails. So I think that sort of burned out the project, but we talked a lot about what we will do and how it will be and all this. And one day we were talking about the name of what project, what the name of the project, and we said, let's see the first word in the book, the closest book we have. And we said, okay, fair game. We are talking in the phone, and I said, okay, so the closest book I have is Catholics Today and the Occult Science.
Oh yeah.
From I think the author is Alec Mayer, I think.
Okay.
And he said, no. And he said, I have the same. He told me the name in French, which I guess is catholique aujourd'hui.
Les catholiques d'aujourd'hui et l'occultisme. Something like
quelque chose comme ça. And then, and I was like, wow, well, already this is like a incredible synchronicity. But then I said, when did you buy it?
Yeah.
And he said, in the King's Day of, then I have to remember the year, it will be, I think, 2013 or 2014.
The book is Catholique d'aujourd'hui et sciences occultes.
Yes, exactly. So apparently we bought the book the same day, but he bought it in Paris and I bought it in Barcelona. So the first word was Ordre, and I think I think the next one, I think we were not so happy with the next one, so we said, fuck we do our own rules. So I think then we looked around and then we said, Order 10.
So, but it means eternal order.
Yeah, eternal order.
It's very... So...
It's very... Yes.
Yeah, it's like it could be like a super fascist band too.
Yes, it could be super fascist.
That's part of industrial culture to toy with fascist aesthetics.
Yes, a bit doing the rebels.
For the music, it fitted really well.
Yeah, I think.
Very well. Yeah, indeed, it's a really good name. Yeah. And Sylvia, could you tell us a bit about your first steps and so on, and what triggered you to become a perverted musician?
Yeah. It was all Victor's fault, no?
All my fault.
It was, no.
We all know that's true.
In a way, no? I come from a small place in Italy, and until I was 18, I was not really into music that much. I studied classical music, but I was not into. I have never been to any kind of alternative concert. In my area, there is almost nothing going on, so I didn't even know much that they existed. And then I found a way to come to Barcelona like for 3 months to do a kind of internship. It was a European Union program, and I did an internship in this festival that Victor was telling about before. So this experimental music festival, and I got to meet Victor and Lucy and other people around them. And they already had the project of Magia Roja going on. They already have the label, and they were already doing some small events in the. They just got like the headquarters of what would be Magia Roja later.
Do you remember the first day that we met?
Yeah, I think it was we were going to a Goblin show.
Goblin, the Italian.
Yeah, the Italian band. It was my first.
Suspiria done live.
Yes.
Huh?
Was it good?
I mean, the show was good, but they were playing.
And the people got a bit.
Then they were only playing when there was music in the film. So people, I think, they wanted like an uninterrupted show.
It was not like a proper concert. Yeah, I think people.
It was really a music cinema experience.
Yes, exactly. And the people were standing, so I think there was a bit of they imagine a different kind of. No?
Right.
But I remember
that was your step in the first day. You are talking with Goblin.
Yeah, it was like I had to stay a bit with them, no? Like prepare the backstage and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were talking what is production, what does it mean to do production for a show, no?
Yeah. How
and
to
actually,
organize something.
some days, I don't know if it was the same week or the first time we talked, also I remember asking you, like, why you don't want to make notes with your guitar in ordre because you had, and I was really shocked. I was like, I want to understand this, no? Like, why people would like to make noises. I was really, I don't know, young, I would say, and unexperienced, totally. So I was, kind of shocked. I remember one of the first shows was Ordre and Coagul.
Were you that inquisitive young girl who judges noise musicians a little bit? I had that a lot in my younger noise performer life, you know? It's a not naive young girl who comes and asks you like ingenious questions. Is this really music? But you can feel it's a bit of provocation.
They already have the answer in their mind.
Absolutely not naive.
Actually, I had a bit that I was a bit like, all this dark music is because people are sad. Or I had this very concept. And I remember also talking about this.
I remember once you asked me why I like all this cold music, and I remember
you put Kraftwerk.
I put you Kraftwerk.
I was like, look, there is melody. There is like
not melody. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
Like it's cold in a way, but it's also very, very emotional, very hot too.
I was talking to someone with someone I didn't know a little while ago. Met randomly in a bar, and then I hand her a flyer. And she said, did you do the design? I said, yeah. This is really disgusting. Okay. and then later on, I see her again, and she told me, I had an indigestion with your artwork. I really couldn't eat more, and I couldn't digest it. I had to stop eating, and I even couldn't digest because your artwork sticks in my brain.
Oh wow!
In some way, it's good to have some strong reaction. No, it means it's really
But then it triggers similar questions. Why are you doing this? What's the point? Why do you make unpleasant things? Why do you like dark comedies? Why not a romantic comedy or something fun? And we're like, well, you know, it doesn't tell much about your life to have something that gets you to believe that everything is always pink. What the hell would it be if everything was?
A bit educated, no, and grown up this way.
Yeah.
And so it was a bit some kind of the first people that I met. They were like really different in this way, no? And so you get a bit shocked, no? You have your prejudice, of course, as well, no? But I was kind of curious to understand, no, why these people are so different. And I think one of the things that made me also stay longer and want to investigate more, because at the beginning I didn't like the music the first things you showed me.
But you were attracted by this.
I really liked the people. That was the thing. Like I liked
human connection.
Yeah, and the interesting things and topics we would talk about. I was like, wow, this is full of really interesting people that they work and do very different stuff in their life, very different things, and they have a lot of interesting things to tell me. And I was really attracted to that at the beginning, and there was a good vibe in all the events we were organizing and I was attending. And of course I had a good feeling with Victor and Lucy and other people of Magia Roja. So at the beginning it was really more that, like, oh, what? So I'm learning a lot from being around this circle of people. So I want to investigate more. And Coagul was one of the shows the first shows I liked.
The project of Marco Callaghan.
Yes, I went to see him quite a few times.
The artist friends we've been talking about, this is one of his music projects. So he's a visual artist and also a musician, and one of his projects is called Coagul.
Yeah, that's right.
I think, in fact, once you had a similar reaction to this girl that Yannick was talking about. That I was putting you the locust, and you told me, I want to vomit. And I was like, I really want to vomit. And I was like, well,
this music makes me want to vomit.
But you were like really meaning it. But there was a not breaking point, but a moment of change that I remember one day you said, okay, I want to listen black metal.
And I was, put me some Dark Throne.
There is something that half occultist, half clown Anton Sandor LaVey said one day, is that women like it weird. And I think it's true. There is a mystery. It might be really stupid and a bit essentialist. It's an Anton LaVey quote, not a super top-notch philosopher or anything. But I still actually like to believe that there is a call for the weirdos that we are in amongst pretendedly naive women.
I'm
it's very,
sure
very 20th century. You're not
also to get like the right weirdos, no? How to say? Some really
there's
bad
a lot
weirdos,
of
no?
So you became.
I was lucky.
I'm the right weirdo.
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely. Yeah, no, it's not like ending up with the Hells Angels or something.
No.
So, I mean, it's gentle weirdos, non-sexist weirdos, all these sorts of stuff. So I wanted to ask you about Magia Roja. I think I pronounce it rather well. Magia Roja. I think it would be Magia Roja in Spanish, but I try to say it like you
Catalan.
do, which is Catalan.
Magia Roja.
So it's a place in Barcelona that's currently stopped, right? It's discontinued. You ran it with other people. We will talk a bit about them. It means red magic. Well, the place is quite legendary, and I have another question afterwards, but as an introduction to that, I wanted to ask you, could you define red magic?
Well, the red magic is, I think, most people will say it's black magic, but done with a lot of times sexual purposes, or love purposes. Other people say that it's not black magic, but it's also done with blood, etc. The reason, then when we put the name, and then it became apparent that the name was very perfect, especially when we opened the place, because the name comes from a song from a project I had called One, and I had a song called Magia Roja. So we were looking for names, and we said, so it's not this kind. I would like to have maybe a better story for this, but the good part of the story is that then when we got the place, it was really like, that's the best name we could have, because it was a very sexually charged place. No?
There was always something something like that in Barcelona, as far as I'm concerned, and with that place as well.
You mean other places?
No, yes, in Barcelona as a whole, but in the scene there is something more of that vibe than Germany, for instance. Generally speaking,
Yeah.
a strong sense of community as well, which brings people closer to one another. I wanted to ask you about Magyarország. It's a venue, it's a label. I think the label continued,
Yeah.
Yes.
even though the place is finished. But above all, it's a spirit, or maybe even some kind of secret society or a cult. If I remember, it was pretty exclusive. I usually don't like exclusivity much, but in this context, I loved it because I'd call it reversed exclusivity. People feeling more important than the music were not allowed to come inside, and it had a membership.
Yeah.
I think you had this friend called Ramon,
Yes.
who was very keen on that. Like people who just come to get drunk, not listen to the music, not pay attention to the artist or to the music being played, were not allowed. So it's pretty much the opposite of the rest of nightlife in general. People do care, and
I think it was not exclusive because like anyone actually could enter if you would have some respect and curiosity for the place and for the people and for the music played. So it was not like you would never be able to enter if you show these characteristics. Like you can change, and people change behavior. There were people that at the beginning were not very welcome, that they eventually like understood better the attitude of the place.
You had a point, and you made it clear.
Yes. You said Ramon was one of the
I mean,
working on.
I think, the idea from the start was doing like a association that it's only for people that it's interested in a very wide range of things. But even that, we like the idea that there could be people of any point of view almost, but with a respect inside. So I think that connects sort of with an occult society, which is that it's not so much like we are all think exactly the same. I think that's a bit boring. I think it's really cool to have a variety of views and all that. And I think this kind of music also, it's maybe the only scene where people can discuss really extreme things without
it's more a community that was based on affinities, aesthetic affinities, philosophical affinities, stuff like that.
Exactly. And then what we did is that we discourage people from entering if they are not into what the association is about.
What we previously called weird stuff, but we say that for society, of course, we don't think it's just weird stuff.
Yeah, no. For us, it's
just real stuff.
Real, interesting, cool stuff. But but if the people really wanted to enter and they were nice, we will let them in.
Yeah, right.
It's just if they still are nice inside, then they can stay. Some people, once they were inside, they will come and say, why you do all these things? Why this is really sad? Well, that's the word they said many times. But people were not sad at all. They were super happy. So we were like, I think maybe you are the sad one in this context. You have to look around and see that people is having fun. And a lot of these people then eventually came to like a lot this, and they were saying, now I don't know where else to go, because I don't know where else to find this kind of community and music. And it's just not the music, actually. It's just the place itself was like an experience, because it's not like a club. You have been there, no?
Yeah,
and it's like
I
a bit like
you
played there.
Was absolutely great.
Yeah.
I still remember that very well. Great experience. But it was always there. I've been there a couple of times, 2 or 3, I don't remember. It was always nice. It was always very nice.
I think it has been an important place, not only for us running it, but for many people also, for many of the members attending. After we closed, we had many many people asking like, when are you going to open again? We really need a place to meet again. We don't have a meeting place where we can feel comfortable. No? And yeah, many special things. There had been marriages inside.
Weddings.
Weddings. Yeah. Like informal weddings.
Not that they told us.
Can we do a wedding? No, you
did.
turn and there was like someone like making like the preach, and two people, and they were celebrating.
It is a cult place.
It is
and there have been bands forming out of it. There, we had friends telling us that it was really a place where part of their life changed there. They were really in a depressive moment or a hard moment in their life, and they met a whole new circle of friends. And
a big community created around Magia Roja.
Yeah, people helping each other and stuff they needed. Like, I need someone that knows this. Okay, I'm part through the community. They would exchange favors.
And there was a lot of DIY spirit involved as well, right?
Yeah. Also, I think maybe this is a detail, but like it's a kind of club that people would sometimes there were people playing chess, or that you heard the kind of discussions they were talking about, and it was like really specific, like about architecture,
and there was
ideology about in architecture in a certain
epoch.
Neighborhood of Barcelona. So if you went around, you would hear a lot of interesting discussions, and it was very easy to join. Like many clubs, I think you go, and people, it's maybe in their own. Yeah.
Many friends told us, or many people told us, here I can come alone because I know that I will meet people and I will talk with people. I won't feel lonely. I can come alone and I will
missing
meet.
Today. I mean, this is. Are you sometimes contemplating running your own place again?
Yes, we do, and we did, and we have been until since we closed the old one. Right now, we see it a bit a future thing, not a present thing, in the sense that we are playing and touring a lot with La Mearia, and the other people working, we a bit. Some people moved out of Barcelona, the people that was forming Magia Roja before, and others opened new activities. They have other stuff now going on as us. So it's a bit. We would like to. But I think it will be a thing a bit in the next years, no?
Yeah, at the moment we don't have time.
But it's really good also that you focus on the project. I wanted to ask you, because I've seen both of you, we come a long way, and I think something that defines both of you is persistence. You seem very committed to what you do, and very persistent over time. Like there seems to be something that you just don't give up like that. You just do what you do and run it with a lot of love, but also hard work, commitment. So I wanted to ask you to give a little advice to other people about the keys to developing a project. And I wanted to ask you, is persistence all, to paraphrase Coyle?
Well, I think if you had to choose something, I think it's concentrating effort in not short time, maybe. I mean, you also have to have like two different lines, I guess, of time. One that, at least at the start, you have to do a really big effort, and I don't think you can do it without. If you don't have love for it, I think you don't need to continue.
Just don't bother, right?
Yeah, don't bother. If you are not. I think you have to almost be fanatically obsessed about something, like, I think that's love. And if you cannot live without that, it goes almost alone, I think. It's difficult for me to see it in another way. Like, I see other people that maybe, they don't care so much with other projects I have had. They were different than with Silvia. Silvia's maybe the most committed person I played with, but with other band members in other projects, they were not so
Committed.
So committed.
Yeah.
But they didn't need to be committed. I need to be committed because it's like I cannot. When we have a bad show, we say that we cannot. We cannot live.
Depressed.
Depressed.
You need to have another one
had
to
that,
solve this.
Exactly.
The feeling. It's a really intimate. It's like part of you has been raped in a way. I don't know. In
But
a way.
actually I see
In
what
a
you
way,
mean.
no. But you really feel really bad. But what I think. I had a more romantic. It's my first project, so I'm learning out of it. But maybe I had a more romantic idea. But I got to learn that it comes with a lot of hard work, and it's kind of you are never done of the work. Like, there is always people can say the show was good, I really liked it, but still you have to work on it. Like I think you will never arrive, no?
Sure.
There is always. You always have to work on it and prove and
persistence for sure. It's one key word.
Yeah.
For sure, persistence, and I think you have to put.
You said
effort.
it. I think you talked about love, and I think it's very much. Those two things are very much key. But
Well, I think it's a principle of magic that if you will do anything for something that you love, and then magic stuff happens. And what's the magic stuff? Things that you don't understand. How all these things can happen. If you put it in a very rational way, these things can happen. But the fact that you don't exactly know how they happen, I think it pushes even more, because it's more romantic, it's more fun, it's more interesting. It's less interesting to say, oh, it was all coincidences.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck, it could have been. No, at the end, if you put this effort, good things happen to you, also bad things, but the bad things you don't focus on them. You are sad for a couple of days and then fuck
I
them.
like the idea that there is no chance, there is a natural perfection of things if you let them be. Or if you conform to a certain natural order of things, there is a certain perfection there. Because it's also a way to make the world more dull, and destiny and fate more dull and more boring, to rationalize everything and say, it's pure chance. No, maybe it was meant to be. Maybe things are perfect if we don't try to quantify them.
Exactly.
And predict everything and have statistics for every single thing in the world.
Well, I like the idea that you can use anything to anything you want. Like if you one day you want to rationalize something because, or sometimes it's a good tool, and then a good tool can be live continuously magic life where everything is assigned. All it's how to say it. You are going to a destiny continually, no? And everything is pointing to a direction.
Yeah, I really like that idea.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's way more fun. Then you can also think, it's
especially in a world that over-rationalizes everything to the point of making it meaningless and ugly, really. In lots of situations, you really think, okay, things could have been nice. For instance, the record industry could have stayed being inspiring and interesting, but it's so over-optimized that they just don't dare to take any risks at all. So miracles cannot happen.
Exactly.
It's just like, well, same crap.
Exactly.
So,
Totally agree. I think that it's I think the word fun, it's really big for me. Fun in a wide sense. Like I think it's a more fun way of living life, living it in this way, like more symbolic.
We're touching something there too. Like this dimension of fun is. I see a lot of musicians who kind of, I would say, made it. They don't seem to enjoy themselves much, and I think I'm very like, what's the point? There's a certain industrial musician that's famous. Sorry, this is just my that's quite known, and I used to see him in festivals when we played with Orphan Sword on a couple of instances. You know, he was playing gigs all the time. I meet him and I said, "Hey, how are you?" "Well, depressed," and that was always the answer, you know. And I thought, how can this guy be depressed? So I keep playing everywhere, so it means he's really. Not enjoying it as much as he should, and it's a little sad in a way.
I think part of it is having like a never-ending childhood in a way, because being creative, I think a big part of being creative. One part is getting bored sometimes. Sometimes even how do you say like the procrastinating. Sometimes it's important for creating.
It's part of the process.
It's part of the process, and part of the process is having fun. And having fun, it's less connected to adult life, I guess, and it's more connected to fantasy and not a so rational life. And I think if you start to rationalize too much, you get out the fun from life, and then you get out your creativity too. You need a bit fantasy.
I understand the example you made. To me, it happened a few times in thinking more in the live shows, and I think it's something you have to care about, like making sure that you're still always having fun in what you're doing, like in the live, for example. And I think something that's for us, like starting to change more, like the set list, doing new songs. For me, like after a while of playing many times almost the same kind of show, many times the same songs, it made me feel a bit like, okay, I'm here, I know what I'm doing, I do it good, I know this movement will work, I know this will work, but you're not feeling it. And so I think it's something you always have to
it's a struggle.
to work to work on it, to
struggle for the joy.
Yes. Well, to me it's a bit of a drag, like the live shows, and yes, and you always want more, but more intensity, right. I think, well, I'm sure, like now I need more intensity to be happy of than 2 years ago. That you had played less. The shows, I think, were more. So they were not as intense as they are now. And so it's getting not only in the number of people that comes, but also like in the intensity of the performance and
so it's like there's a progression, and then there is some kind of plateau, and you need to re-challenge yourself into making it intense again and wilder
and changing, like adding new parts and always working on getting like a different live. It makes you still enjoying it. But if sometimes maybe we had some period and we stopped a bit because you don't have time, you concentrate on other things, and then you feel it when you do it live. It's like, it's all right, but I'm not enjoying it so much because I already know this. I'm just I feel a bit like a puppet, not totally, but a bit, and I don't like this, I hate this, so we have to do something.
But we did a commitment. We returned to play live. How do you say? Habitualmente. Oh shit. Usually, since September 2021, and we did the decision of not repeating a set list. So even if we have had, I don't know, tours of 11 or 12 shows in a row, every day we do a different set list, and I think that has been very important for the project, because I think we have grown much more in this last 2 years, than in the previous.
I think that's very cool about your duo, is that it's something that's happening live when you play. You can see that it's challenging for yourself. I think you're also keeping a part of it intentionally quite raw, not too overproduced, and very much about the moment and creating a certain particular vibe, maybe sense of elation of ritual. Maybe I wanted to ask you about that too. So it's good. About how do you see live performance, and do you see it as some kind of ritual or more a concert in the traditional sense? What is your relation to stage, and especially you as Sylvia, since you're
it's a difficult
you're the leader.
question. Difficult. It was a in a way it's something. I mean, it's something that makes me feel great being on stage. So it's something that I know every time I will be there, and if the shows goes kind of good, you get a bit out of yourself. That's very typical to say, no? But
that's typical of a trance-like state too.
Yeah, it's like you experience another part of you that you cannot experience in the daily life, no? So it's a you that can do anything, and there's to do anything that passes in the mind in the moment, that maybe in your normal life you're more shy, or you're more educated, or you have some more
freedom,
more social rules, and while you are there you don't have any, and the people agree in it, like the public, but also you're there to do stuff that you wouldn't do at all. So I am a bit different.
Yeah, is there a therapy in that, this?
Well, I'm sure that I think it's something really healthy for the like to take out emotions that maybe you don't take out in other ways. And I'm sure I'm high when I finish the shows that are kind of good. I'm really high. So I'm sure it's good for the mental health. I think it's a good no. I didn't come to that, of course, thinking of it. But at the beginning, I didn't know. I thought I was really afraid of being exposed, like on a stage. And the first show, I didn't enjoy it at all. I was too stressed. So it was like, this is a super stressful thing. Why I put myself there? I will never do it again. It's like I will just do music at home, and that's it. And then when you can control a bit the anxiety part, which I still have it before the show, but when the show starts, it's gone. Then you can enjoy it fully. I don't know if you have something to add for you.
Yeah, I have something to add. That I think the live show has changed a lot since before pandemic and after pandemic. I think now it's much more an experience than it was before. But I don't know why, but when we started, I took the project personally. I don't know you, but I took it a bit like, so this is like sort of, not. I don't know if I should say. Maybe I don't know if the correct word is minimal synth. Maybe it's not, but like not something so intense and with ups and downs and dynamics so much. And I think we played in as time progressed.
It wasn't tribal wave yet.
Yeah,
no. Describe it a tribal wave.
It was already. We had this thing that we had tribal songs and also sort of more minimal synth or early industrial. Like industrial as some songs of Cabaret Voltaire, Throbbing Gristle, that it's not Einstürzen und Neubauten kind of or SPK intensity. This kind of minimal synth that it's a bit more dark and but I think we already had the tribal thing but I think with the shows we started to. At first I was telling Sylvia, I don't even sweat in these shows. I'm not used to. But I was like, I think this is the way. Maybe it's like that. It's my role, and
band, kind of.
Yeah, and maybe this band it's not so intense because I used to have a lot of intense bands and with dynamics and stuff. And I think as we did shows, and eventually we did a tour and a bunch of shows with a drummer, with this idea of we will have the trio configuration as duo.
And member of Nod, right? The British band.
Exactly, the drummer
What's
from
his
Nod.
name?
Jesse Webb.
Okay, thank you.
So with him, I think, and even before I was started to feel like in the intros, for example, with the synths, like improvisation noises and all that stuff, I was starting to feel like I want to make people shake and maybe hurt them a bit. This kind of, I was getting back some feelings from. I'm not sure if I want to be so, detached and, I wanted to do something more powerful, I guess. And then we played with a band from Jerusalem called Wackel Contact. And that was our last show before entering in the pandemic. Okay. And I have to say that these guys make a fucking hell of a show. It's amazing.
Great.
They are great. One of the best lives I think there is at the moment. And I don't say it because we released it on our label. Okay. They are really they kick our asses, so to speak. So after this show, we were like, we have to improve. People were really happy about the show, blah, 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 but we were not. We were like, we have to improve. And then we had the pandemic. So these two things combined now we have 1 year and a half to improve the show. So the first show that we did, after the pandemic was like, I think, I don't know if light years, but it was really a big jump, because we improved a lot of things.
We added some elements, some noise generating elements, more percussion. We have more percussion we play now.
Yeah, everything that we could improve, and then we started to focus on why we don't, go more into extreme dynamics, and this kind of stuff. So I think this improved a lot the shows, and then we said, let's not do any set list with. Obviously, there's many projects that they don't do any set list. When I was playing with Futuro Hierro, for example, I could do whatever I wanted.
Yeah, but you have, let's say, this relation to a stage is still, I think, is not that common anymore. You have a lot of shows that are very planned, and it feels like you say there's a bit of a puppets doing the same thing.
I think we also thought about like the good sides, like trying to take the good sides of more rock bands or rock shows, which is like the energy, the performance, that many times in electronic music you don't have.
Completely second.
But in electronic music you have the good, that is like the kick is going to be really great, sounding great. No, you have a really cool and can be really powerful sounds. Right. You can aprovechar, take advantage really good of the whole PA system. But many of the electronic shows, they're a bit plain in the performance aspect, and we wanted like a bit to try also like the percussive, like playing a lot live. It's also inspired a bit in that, like taking a bit of the rock that you see what they're doing and they're doing it live, and this gives the audience. It makes it easier to get into the trance with the band, I think, seeing it. So that's an important thing for us. That they see that we are playing.
Impact, a strong visual element. The thing, absolutely. I found it extremely tough to be touring the post-COVID world, especially with Figure Section in the US. How did you deal with that? How did you hack it? This post-COVID context, and also crisis context, everything's more expensive. People come less. People are more introverted. They're behaving more introvert. There is a lot of things. I mean, it's more expensive to travel, but you don't get paid more. All that.
I think.
Okay, you go or
as you want.
I think we are very lucky because we didn't know what would happen. I guess nobody knew. No? Yeah, of course, but maybe, we had, fears of now it's going to be impossible to tour or whatever, but I think, one of the key things, I guess, it's we released the Mannequin record in the middle of the pandemic, it was April 2021. So when we played again, it was a bit different of what we expected. We had bigger audiences, and also just before getting into a pandemic, we got into a booking agency that was getting good things. So when we came out, came out actually to the first show was the biggest show.
Developed, it really popped out at the right time.
So we were very lucky. I mean, the first show we did, I think, was in Upload, no? But the first show we did outside was a Kilby festival.
A really good festival in Switzerland.
So, and it was for us the biggest
So,
show up to that moment. And in that same week, we did another one as big as this one. So it was like
maybe
wow,
the first months of touring right after COVID, sometimes we heard this like, oh yeah, there are a bit less people because some are still, the wave is coming back, or they're a bit afraid, blah, blah, blah. But I think it was a small influence on our touring, and it was a bit more the first months. Now we don't feel that.
I can see.
I mean, prices of flights have gone up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And we take a lot of flights, unfortunately. But yeah, it's also true that compared to before, we play for more people, so it compensates.
I think it's our experience with touring. I think we are not the example, maybe, of if it's more difficult or not, no, post-COVID.
Yes.
But I notice it more when people ask me to play in Barcelona and ask me for who can organize it, and I have less names than before. And if they ask me about Spain, I have less names than before. And I feel like, yeah, maybe it's more difficult. That's my feeling, especially with certain kinds of music.
There's less promoters around.
I think there's less promoters.
I think that we have a bit of a perspective, a sided perspective, because before COVID we had a venue, and so we were also much more into organizing stuff. We had more connections, and so I think now also in Barcelona we are touring a lot. We are not there so much time, so I think we also have some disconnection, that maybe the old promoters, we knew maybe some stuff, but we are not in contact so much with the new people that came out.
Right.
So I'm not so sure about it.
But I have a feeling of there's less new. I mean, I know there's some new things. Yeah, there's a feeling, I have a strange feeling. I mean, when I want to recommend somebody to where they ask where I can play, and for a lot of different kinds of music, I'm like, I'm not sure. You know, I give maybe a couple of names, but you know, I think
in a way, in what
things.
you say, I can understand too that COVID helped you as well to reshape the project and make it stronger and crack up eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we were in the pandemic, we were not happy about being stopped because we had a lot of things going on in 2020.
Yes.
But on the long run, I think it was a good thing for us because we had all this year and a half to improve, no?
Yeah, and to work on new music as well.
Yeah, a lot
all
of
the new albums.
And experiment with psychedelics, of course.
Yes.
How was that? Did it go well for you? Is this still a source of inspiration?
Well, for me, well, actually, we never experienced
together.
Yeah, so it's more. I recall now that it might be more with you, Victor, that I had those conversations.
I was, I guess, what you would call a psychonaut, no?
Psychonaut,
yeah. Because I had a friend that could get, you know, a lot of different things, highest quality. And we were a group.
You will give me his contact.
Yes. Well, he lives in Australia now.
It doesn't matter.
So we were a group of friends, and it was a bit like a restaurant, you know, like what's in the menu this weekend. But I was not at all into the idea of becoming a slave to any drug.
It's never been about addiction.
I never liked this. I only became addicted to tobacco, and I really resent. I really don't like this thing.
You've quit smoking.
Yeah, I quit smoking.
Congratulations.
After Humo Festival. That if you knowing Spanish. You will know.
It means
what it
smoke.
means.
Festival. Smoke festival.
Smoke. Yeah, it means smoke. So after a smoke festival,
you stop
smoking, and it worked for me. These things work amazingly. All these games and things for me.
But humo has nothing to do with smoking, right? It's just
No,
the
no,
name.
it's just the name of the.
Okay.
It's just that I did this game. I did it before to stop smoking weed. So I stopped smoking weed in Amsterdam, and it worked amazingly for me because people were like, "Oh, you are going to smoke joints, blah blah blah, in Amsterdam." And then when I went there, I said, "No, I'm going to do the opposite of what everybody thinks." So then I have a story to explain. I break it. I don't have this story. But then COVID happened, and after 3 years, I found a bag of weed and a lot of time. So I lost that story in a way. But these 2 times I've done it this way, it was super easy for me. Like, do you remember when I stopped smoking? After 1 month, I was like, oh, I stopped smoking one month ago.
Why did I ever smoke?
Why? Why?
You really like numbers and they work good, I think.
I'm a lot into numbers. Being a psychonaut, for me, it was like, I was very into it, and I did a lot of psychedelic
You told me
trips.
about lots of different psychedelics I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
I didn't even know existed.
to CA, to CB. Now it's finally sort of mainstream, I guess.
Mainstream.
Yeah, there's one that they call it the same way. I don't know if it's only in Spain, but it's a different thing. Then LSA.
LSA.
Yeah, instead of LSD, LSA.
And can you remind me the difference?
Actually, all these things are, except, I mean, LSA and LSD, to my memory, they are not so different. There's one I remember being very different, that it's a 2C, I think it's 2CI, 2CI, how do you say? 2CI, no? In English.
Sí.
So this one I really didn't like. I did it, I don't know if 2 or 3 times, but maybe it's the worst psychedelic I've ever taken, because it's psychedelic, but there's zero emotion. It's like it completely takes out all emotion, so you don't care about anything. It's psychedelic, but you don't care. So it's like
Desensibilized.
yeah, completely. Like I
That's
was.
very strange.
It's strange because I was sort of afraid, but not feeling fear.
Right.
Afraid of being like this forever. You know, like, and every time I took it, I was like, I have no emotion. I'm empty. There's nothing inside, and it was just annoying. It was like, this is boring as fuck. It's the worst psychedelic.
Why you took it again?
The worst.
Why you took it again? Like what was maybe it's going to be different.
One of the times I think I don't know if we were fooled or I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's see if today it's different.
Yeah.
But I remember the last time it was like never. And I remember when I took it the last time was the first time I saw Sano.
Oh.
It was an incredible experience. It was in 2005, and after the show, I was high from the show. Really, it was incredible. I was high for hours, and then I went to a club in Barcelona, and my friends happened to say, "Well, we have this," and yeah, it was again. I think this really bad psychedelic, which I don't like at all.
What is your best experience ever with
psychedelics?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you can recall, of course.
Yeah, I can recall, but it will be. I think it will be impossible to just name one, but I can name some. I remember.
Isn't the first time the best, really?
No, not for me. I mean, for me, the first time it was amazing. I went out from my body. I could see myself from outside. I lost the sense of the word I. I only could understand we. I didn't understand the word I.
Yeah.
All these things, no? But I have had, after that, I have had some trips that I think it was Bill Hicks that called it 5 dried grams an heroic dose. And I've done a bunch of heroic doses, and it's really wow.
Sounds like
beyond.
like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah. No. Well, actually, I only did maybe one of these kind of trips that this kind of wild that you don't have a place to go and you take it and you are in the street, like, you know, going really wild. Most of my trips were at home with friends, and a lot of my trips were in a sofa. I close my eyes and I'm, you know, at the start of the universe, and, you know, all these amazing things that are almost impossible to express with words.
Yeah,
and listening to music, then talking, philosophizing, and all this, all this stuff.
Sure, it's about the experience. It's very hard to convey.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself politically oriented? Or, I mean, I kind of know, but probably a lot of people don't. You don't have to answer, but do you have an agenda?
An agenda. Do we have? I personally, I'm very. I think that the more I know, the less I know. That's my main thing for the last years. That, like, I realize that that things are very complicated and I'm not so clever. That's what I see more and more obvious. Like when I was younger, I thought, yeah, I know everything.
You got it all figured out.
I got all figured out, and now I'm like, no, I don't have anything figured out. I'm quite incompetent, or I'm not clever.
I have that too.
Yeah, you know.
We see how limited we are.
Yeah.
Regarding the world's evolution and all the complexity out there.
Yeah.
I think with Magia Roja we were not politically oriented, and I think that was one of interesting aspect that there were people in our association and members that had different political ideas, and sometimes one against the other, no? And that was interesting because more and more, I guess in the past as well, but more and more you're the only people you have around you think mostly the same, and I think Magia Roja was cool also in that side. And with Damearia, I think it comes a bit from the same vibe. No? We don't have a very strong.
Well, we have some things a bit like, for example, we are vegetarian, but we are not proselytizing about this. I think it's the first time we say this in public or something. Yeah.
You're not militant.
We are not militant. I mean, we like good things, and that life is good, and that people treat each other with respect, and a lot of, you know, good things. But I don't think we are the ones that will advise the others how to live their lives or organize their lives. We are not, you know. So like I said, we are maybe not so clever, not so wise.
People don't pay much attention to lyrics, and I wanted to ask you, like, if they were relevant to you in a very personal way, if there was anything in them that you address people with, or if they are more on the super intimate and you use them more as an instrument, as a lot of artists do nowadays.
I would say there are both, depending on the lyrics, depending on the songs.
You write them generally?
Many of the lyrics are improvised.
Okay.
Like many times until now, we maybe had the idea of the song, or the song already, like the demo recorded, and then I would try stuff and put on record and just like close the eyes and see what images come and try to describe it or make something out of it. And many lyrics that actually really came out like this way. Maybe it's not the first time, sometimes yes, but sometimes maybe you try. But in a few, in 20 minutes, maybe you already have almost the lyrics, and some they come out, of course, written. Like I wrote them, and in the last album there are the first lyrics that we collaborated a bit on it.
Yeah.
So I got the idea, but then we worked a bit together on we could say this sentence or this other sentence.
Lately we collaborated in some.
But I think there are some lyrics that are kind of they have a kind of empowering meaning in a way. Like is one that it's like try to find your passion, like try to find and follow the things you want to do in life and go along with it. When I'm thinking now, or well, esto me pertenece, I will say there are some that are kind of community.
I wanted to ask you about it.
A kind of community feeling, like to create like we are in this together and.
But what does it mean
strong,
literally? If you translate it literally.
Scopri le tue passioni. Which one?
Eso me appartiene.
Esto me pertenece. Ah, okay.
This is mine. Something like that.
Sorry? Esto me pertenece, yeah, this belongs to me.
Yeah.
But it's meant, like in the lyrics, it's like, actually these lyrics came out of when we had to leave Magia Roja. So it came out of that, like this place belongs to me, this place belongs to us, actually that's what I end up saying. And and they say I'm standing here and they will always be standing, I won't move, and this place belongs to us, and then this world belongs to us. Then I don't know, I remember all the lyrics, but it came out of that.
I think
you worked a lot based on improvs.
A lot, with the lyrics. Well, also with the music, actually. But yes, a lot. Not all. We have lyrics that have been written, like you first write it and then you adjust it to the music. But many came out, improvising, and it's a really, I would say, it's one of the really magical parts, no, of that. It's all in a sudden you have this, and it's like, oh wow, you came out with it. You came up with it. It's surprising, no?
Improvisation is not like, because I think once we did an interview that it came out like you improvise lyrics all the time, like in the shows. But it's like to create the lyric, you improvise
from
it.
It's taken from bass improvisations.
Many times
bass material that
first take or second take, you already have the lyrics. So.
I like that sometimes you really have, if you have something, the first take sometimes might not be the most perfect one, but you usually have something in it that you absolutely won't reproduce ever. I really liked you. I did that in my last track, and I was very happy to do so because it requires a certain level of self-confidence or self-acceptance. You're really like, okay, it's not perfect, but there is something there I will not do again. So
to me, it's also when you're coming up with the lyrics in the moment that you're recording it and it's going to be the final. It's the moment that the words are appearing in your mind, no? And so you say it, you feel it in a way that it won't be possible to reproduce it.
Yeah, it must have something to do with that. And then if it's emotional to you, you have the right emotion because it's just coming to you. You don't have to recreate a certain context, right?
That's also something we are a bit working on it, because until now we have worked more this way. So we record the song, and usually it's like in a fast time. Maybe one day we already have like the final version kind of done, and then I improvise the lyrics on top. But now, to us, this felt a bit like demos, like, because then those songs we bring them on the live show, and in the live show they evolve. They evolve, and so now we have some songs that we listen to the record. It's like, wow, this is very primitive. The voice, for example, doesn't have much intensity because. So many times if you're improvising, you're not shouting. No? It's very difficult to improvise the lyrics and also put a thing of the register to use. No, it's more difficult. And so for the next record, at least, we want to invert this way we have been working until now. And what we are doing is that we are doing all the songs there will be in the next record. We are doing them live now. So we are seeing what works, what doesn't work. We are changing. We're working on it live to see the feeling that we get out of it, and then we will go to a recording studio and try to record it a bit more like a rock band. So going in a studio and like record more the percussions live, more the voice, but where you can really sing like with more intensity.
It's another way to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I think creativity is a lot about changing what you have done and break rules and break, ways that you were used to do. No, so I think we're doing a bit like. We already had some comfort, we do the songs really fast, then we learn them for the live show. But we also realized that what about doing the other way, no?
You're not very conservative people.
No, at all, not at all.
I mean, I asked you if you were politicized, so on, but with the way you were running Magia Roja and the way you're doing the band, I that's why I say I already know. There's many things I already know.
Yeah, sometimes
just seeing what you do, it's your actions that.
True. Sometimes it's better to give an example of the life you think it's better. Well, you try to make your best.
Then a big statement.
Yeah, and then talking that it's easier.
I think we didn't want to get our mouths full with statements or. But it doesn't mean that we don't have a political conscience. We have, and I think we deal more with emotions than with a specific agenda. No, I'm talking about the musical project. Then, personally maybe it's different, but like with the project, I think we deal more with emotions. But we are not this kind of band that says, there's this specific thing that has to happen. It's more like we do songs, no, that maybe they are inspiring, but some other songs are really negative and really bring you down, I guess. So we are not like we only do this, and we are a band that does only this thing. And sometimes people think this.
That's great, and that's why we're talking right now.
Yeah, we had some people thinking like, oh yeah, you do really empowering songs and blah blah blah, and then we said
some of the lyrics are not at all. No.
You should hear some of the lyrics are really fucked up. Like
one goes about personal revenge.
Yeah.
Like I would like to see you dying
vendetta.
in front of me. That's what I'm saying. But I say it in a kind of. The song is kind of. I don't know, not happy, no, but like with percussion, like people have a different feeling. This song.
If they don't understand Italian,
dancing, but then the words I'm saying, I want to see you dying.
Yeah, it's really cold, fucking cold.
And then saying I will be dying of pleasure in seeing you dying this way. So it's very.
Very gangster in a way.
You're a great MC. You're a great MC. You're a great master of ceremony.
Like the hip hop.
Okay.
She's not into. Actually, she's not into hip hop at all.
I connected with the gangster thing, but you're still a master of ceremony in your own way.
Thank you.
I think we've really had a good conversation. It's a bit more than 1 hour. I wanted just to ask you if you had a record, a book, a movie, a TV show, something that inspired you lately and you'd like to name. Something that you really like, or... Yes,
we have to think.
Stand-up comedy, maybe.
We say each one.
I'm thinking. Hey, go.
I go?
If you already have something in mind.
I have something. There is a guy in Spain called Photocopia.
Yes.
Which, there's not only this guy, but
pretty cool name.
Photocopia. Yeah. And this guy, he only released a demo. We are going to release him a 12-inch, and I think it's one of the best live shows I've seen in a long time. Along with Les Rois Se Mort, I think they are also
Les Rois Se Mort.
Les Rois Se Mort. They are
duo
amazing
from Paris. And they're really great,
really good. And Photocopia, wow, amazing. Like I remember we booked him a show, and because he's new and he only has a demo, and we put him first of three bands, and he completely, owned this show completely. Like after his show, everybody was like,
you should have played last.
Like I can go home now.
People were like this all the time.
Do you remember the band France?
I know this band.
I saw them once at Crack Festival. They played first. There were interruptions of electricity. Like everything was completely died down a couple of times.
Wow.
And they kept on playing. just with the drums and the unplugged stuff, and then it came back, you know, and they kept on playing. The whole thing was absolutely amazing. This attitude of just keeping on, and the experience, the whole thing. Then I heard people say, "Well, we can go home." Oh, no, it was like the first performance at the festival.
Wow!
And I thought, yeah, it's true. It's true. They made my day, you know.
Yeah. It's amazing when this happened. No.
Yeah.
And with this guy, we have seen him
quite a few times.
In fact, there is a curious thing that it's that. So we were supposed to do a tour with him just before the lockdown. We traveled to Galicia to play with him in the north of Spain and Portugal. And when we arrived, they said, okay, there's going to be a lockdown. So we had to take the train back to Barcelona. When we arrived in Magia Roja, boom, it was the lockdown.
Oh my God.
So we met him, and it was, meeting him, it was really cool, but we couldn't play and we didn't see him, no? We were supposed to do a tour with him, but so when we could see him finally, it was a really big surprise, yeah. I think this guy also, he said that when he was going to tour with us, he hadn't prepared very well. So maybe for him it was also good, no?
He said that.
The lockdown.
Some time to work better on the project.
And I think, let's see how it goes, but I think this guy can have a interesting career, I guess.
Can we find records by Photocopia somewhere?
There's the demo, and we are going to release his record
on Magia Roja.
It should be out in this year for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. The mix is almost done as we are speaking.
We'll stay in the loop for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Yeah. Sylvia, do you have a recommendation?
I was thinking I've been reading. We read it a bit together as well. A book about La Ruta del Bacalao. I don't know if you have ever heard about it.
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's a really interesting phenomena that happened in Valencia mainly. It's starting like at the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s, and it's mostly known for the evolution of the 90s, which got into a bit.
Bacalao, as in bad techno music.
Yeah, exactly. That was the evolution.
I thought it was about the fish and fish trafficking.
No. Well, it comes the words comes from here. So it was at the beginning they were going to record shops and they were asking if there is new fresh bacalao, to say like new fresh import records that they are ripe. So the beginning, it's known basically for the 90s, but the beginning was really interesting because it was right the end of the Franco regime. So it was like the beginning of democracy. It was Spain was opening. Yeah,
was pre-Movida.
Yeah, but Movida was from Madrid. It was a different vibe, different kind of phenomena. In Valencia, it was like starting with DJing, wanting to mix like guitar music with more electronic music, importing from UK and from Belgium, especially also some stuff like Einstürzen, Neubauten, in the first industrial stuff in Germany as well. And they were DJing this stuff, mainly not in Valencia, the city, but in clubs around, so really in the middle of the countryside, in clubs for, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 people.
And even more. It's
they got really...
movement of masses with really underground music.
And there were bands coming from UK that they said, in UK we play for 80 people, and there they were playing twice at midnight, and then a show at 7 in the morning again for 3,000 people. Tangerine Dream, they played for 8,000 people arena or something like that, which is really crazy to imagine. And the book is about, it makes interviews to a lot of the people that were involved. And it's
Sounds
really interesting. They were doing at the middle of the night at 2 a.m. there was a Dadaist performance of 10 minutes, and then it was going like the party was going back on again. A lot of anecdotes that are really also for Magia Roja. I think it was very interesting to see how some stuff they were doing it in a way that we learned with experience that was actually working, like changing the dimension of the space of the room, for example, or in Valencia they always wanted to have a queue outside. And so even if the place was not full, they would leave a queue outside to make the feeling of we have to go, no? Like that's a place it's crowded, and what happened that many clubs formed, that's why they call it La Ruta, because some people would start. You could start on Thursday, and like on Monday morning, and go from one club to the other, and moving also from one city to the other. No? So it was a really big net of
I think one of the crazy things of this movement is that people go nuts with La Hacienda in Manchester, and in Valencia they have 10 haciendas that are really what people think about the hacienda, which is music related to factory. Then when you read about La Hacienda, it's like, they were playing funk and then house, and it's like, well, it's not so exciting. No. And in this place, you are like, they were playing Throwing Grisel, Cabaret Voltaire, Death in June.
Really?
In Sturzen and Neubauten. That's the music people like.
Someone bring me there now. In that time and place.
And super loud, no limitations. Thousands of people,
and there was
a lot of clubs.
Oh my god! When did this happen exactly?
Starting the end of the 70s and maybe more intense at the beginning of the 80s. It was.
And then it became. I think what it happened is that then they started to create their own music, each club,
their music.
And I think they did it on the cheap.
There was a mixture of stuff. Also,
and it became this shitty music eventually.
At the beginning, there was a lot of mescaline involved. So they were saying that the people it was a drug that it was really open for music, and people got really into the music, and eventually, like all of a sudden, like the mescaline producer, they got it or something. So it's starting to be more like MDMA or speed, like more amphetamine, and so the people wanted more faster rhythms. They were not so passionate to be brought into a trip by the DJ
and no guitar music too. They were playing a lot of post-punk, but also the Cramps or things like this.
And it got more and more popular, so also in a way they say they died by the success. So more and more people were coming around, so the owners of the places, they saw like money, so more bigger businessmen got involved and
that's the way it goes.
So that's what is mostly known for, like the evolution, no? The final. But the beginning, the first years were really interesting.
There's for example one of the clubs that the DJ will break the records when they sounded on the radio or something. He would ritually break the record.
Like,
he will take,
in front of the people, it's like, this record got played in the national radio, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to break it because it's too hit now. Like, it's not underground
because
enough.
It's always have to be
and so people would be like,
stuff.
no, don't do it. And it was like, and then throwing the record in and then...
But really, really crazy stories in this book.
Very
extremely interesting. Do you know if it's translated?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a book, right?
It's a book. I know they did...
Who wrote it?
Luis Costa.
Luis Costa, okay.
So. It's a Barcelona-based DJ and period journalist. He also wrote a book, Balearic, that's about the Balearic movement in Ibiza and also in more or less the same time. I haven't read that one. I know the Spanish edition, they got reissued like more than once, published more than once, but I don't know if they translated.
The root of the cod. Cod.
Yeah, the cod.
So it's like this fish.
Cod is bacalao.
You should translate. You should actually translate bacalao because it's a style. It's a spirit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the book is called Bacalao only. The name of the book is only Bacalao.
I think maybe
it's translated.
I'm seeing that. Maybe
Victor's checking on his.
I'm checking.
His cell phone. Smartphone.
Seems like maybe. I think maybe it's. At least I'm saying that this guy has been interviewed about this in Ransom Note and stuff.
Okay. You got a little coverage.
Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, I think we're done.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you so
thanks a
much.
lot.
Pleasure having you.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
It was really cool.
Very
Yes.
inspiring. I hope we will. You will. Well, I will see you play live this weekend, and I hope you will. I will have the occasion to see you play live many years, and always re-challenging yourselves into
We hope.
wilder and crazier live performances.
We hope,
Hope
to, no?
you keep up
The podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
An honor to be the first one.
We'll see.
Yes.
I don't have any intention of stopping the label anytime. The podcast, we'll see. We'll see how the reception is, and if there's an interest, I will keep on. Sure. It's much fun to do, and I learn a lot. Well, thanks for giving us your time, Victor and Sylvia.
Thank you.
Merci.
Very good. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Antibody Nation. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and follow us on social media at Antibody Label. The best way to support us is by buying our shit through Bandcamp. The address is antibodylabel.bandcamp.com. See you next time!